So today I'm making a recipe for miso soup with kind of an Asian flair, and it's really one of my favorite recipes because it's just so light, refreshing, and vibrant. But what I've learned over the last year working with this water filtration, and specifically reverse osmosis water, is I want to start with a perfectly clean slate, a blank canvas. If there's impurities and off flavors and aromas in the water, the minute we start cooking, we're concentrating those flavors and they're going to compete with the ingredients that I really want to shine in the dish. So the RO water is really the ultimate ingredient, because even as we cook it, if we're reducing something by half or simmering for a long time, we're not concentrating those impurities because there's nothing in it. So what I'm going to start doing is get my water going, because this is a pretty quick dish here. And I'm going to get that water to a boil. Then what I'm going to do is add miso, and this miso paste I love. Actually, I use this in place of chicken stock because it has this natural umami characteristic. It's got great flavor, great subtle richness to it, and it replaces salt in many cases because of that. So what I've done is I've already prepped my ingredients. These are fresh carrots, finely julienned. I have a little scallion that's julienned. The soba noodles, very importantly, we cook them in the RO water. And this is very important because you don't want those impurities to absorb into your rice or your noodles. So these were cooked in RO, and really you're getting all the subtle of that great little wheat. Some fresh cilantro, which we're going to dice a little of this, mince it up because it's going to go into this. I've got a little red and green bell pepper, and then some fresh ginger. And I love the ginger because I don't need too much for it to get that really zesty, kind of snappy, vibrant flavor that ginger gets. It can have a little bit of heat to it, but it also brings that little bit of sweet to it. So the water's almost coming up. Fresh ginger root, peeled, and then minced. And it doesn't take too much. And this is what we found, is if we had impurities in the water, those do get concentrated and they interfere with the flavors that we want to really, really highlight. So, water's coming up. I've got this miso, and it doesn't take too much. It's about 1.5 tablespoons. Start whisking that. Now this is so fast, and this is what's kind of fun about this, is you can look like a real pro in the kitchen. Have your ingredients ready to go, and then at the last second you can plate this up, and as you'll see in just a minute, it's going to come together really beautifully. So the miso starts to dissolve. I get my ginger root in there. It's going to infuse pretty quickly. A little bit of cilantro. We're going to use it again at the end of the dish. Then I've got a little bit of soy sauce, and I like using the light soy because it's got less salt and I don't really need that. And we don't need too much. It's about 2 tablespoons. Now, secret ingredient, little bit goes a long way, but cinnamon. It's going to give you this great kind of secret ingredient. When your guests are tasting this, they're going to wonder what that little ingredient is, and that cinnamon's coming through beautifully. Again, because the water is so clear. So that's ready to go. We don't need to boil this out too long. Once it comes to a boil, give it about 30 seconds to let the flavors infuse, and you're good to go. So here's how we plate this up, and this is what's fun, because you could set 4 or 5 of these up for your guests, and at the last second you're adding the broth. So I get a little of this soba noodle right in the bowl. This is where you can really have fun being artistic and make your plates look so gorgeous. A little bit of the vegetable, a little bit of that scallion, some of this red and green julienne peppers. It already looks great. And then I've got a little of this fresh cilantro leaf right up top. Then we're ready to go. So just get that broth. Now the aroma is just amazing. It's going to fill your whole house up, smelling wonderful. So then the hot boiling broth is what's actually kind of blanching and very lightly cooking your vegetables. just a tiny, tiny little bit of black pepper to finish. And that's the dish, our miso soup with julienne vegetables and of course our pure water from Kinetico.